Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today we're going to be making this Mother's Day card that showcases some of the things that we've already done in our previous videos of the layered flower and the crimped leaves, and I'll show you how I made this flower pot today. So let's get started. To make the flower pot, what I did is I took a piece of Bearly Banana cardstock, and I have it cut at 2 inches by 2 3/8, and then, I always say 3/8, it's 3/4, 2 3/4, and then I scored it at 3/4 and fold it down, and that's going to be, the fold will become the pot lip there. Boy, that could be tricky to say if you were on a very sleepy mode. I'm just taking the corner punch and making the corners of it. And then how I made the pot template is I took where the fold, where the crease is at here where we made it, and lined it up on a pad, and I just took a ruler from where it creases down to a 1/2 inch and made a line and cut it, and did the same thing on the other line from the crease to a 1/2 inch down. And then once you have one made, if you want to mass produce it, you can just use that as the template, and that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to layer this, and you know, mine's not an exact science, so if you wanted to be 100% dead on, I would recommend that you take it to your paper trimmer. But for my purposes, I just use a template and then cut it from there. So again, for the pot, I just take it at the crease. So here, I'll show it here. Maybe this will show a little better. And then come down to a half inch at the bottom, and then that forms your triangle wedge that you're going to take out from your card. Okay, so now that I have, and then like if you trace it, if you use that technique, just make sure that you flip the card and that you use the right side or the other side that doesn't have the pencil or pen mark on it. Okay, so my colors with the card, it's the Bearly Banana, Certainly Celery, Rich Razzleberry. Oops, and I just put my dauber on the wrong one. Yikes. Let's get the right color dauber. Get my purple tones, and I'm going to ink the edges all the way around my pot. I just wasn't paying attention, girls. Grabbed the wrong one. And I also want to make sure that I get all the way around the edge of the pot too. So that's the pot. And I took the little butterfly that's in the Flight of the Butterfly set, and I'm going to stamp this little image down towards the bottom of the pot. Okay, so there's the pot ready to go. So now let's assemble the rest of the card. The rest of the card goes together fairly simple. It's just taking a standard card base, and then I've got a cardstock of Certainly Celery, and that's cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and layer it with the piece of designer paper from the Cottage Wall collection. I love the polka dot, it's so cute. And this is cut at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And I took a piece of ribbon that's the Rich Razzleberry polka dot, and it's cut at about 4 1/2. And the first thing that we'll want to do is I'm going to attach the ribbon to the card, and I go right for the snail adhesive. Put a strip towards the middle of it and kind of get that nice and anchored. And because I've made this card a few times, I know I want to go maybe 5 or 6 rows up on the polka dot. And when you have a piece of pattern paper that repeats, it's nice when you know you've got it lined up too. So I just lined it right up with one of the rows of the polka dots, and I know it's straight across. And then to attach the ribbon on the back side of the card, just put a little snail adhesive on the paper. If you wanted to, you could put a little bit on the ribbon itself and just tuck that in. And then that's all we need to layer that piece. When I kind of do my color layouts, what I try to do is, you know, if I'm going to introduce 3 colors to a card, I like to at least have the color repeat itself at least once. And so I'm going to grab this edge here real quick. And so that you notice that I've got the green introduced twice, I've got the rich raspberry, and then I've got the banana color. So, you know, so there's some continuation there. All right, so I used the Modern Label Punch to punch out a rich raspberry piece of cardstock. I've already stamped my Happy Mother's Day image on a piece of scrap Fairly Banana. We'll punch that out with the word window. Get that attached to the bottom. Let's see here. I'll have it facing me for just a second. There we go. And take a dimensional. And for this card, for me, I found that I'd have success when I place the sentiment on the bottom first, because it helps me know where to position the little pot later on. And I'm ready to put this guy down too. Put some snail adhesive on the flap that we made. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball him right now, just to make sure that I know where I would like to have him call home. And my little layered flower, this is a video in and of itself, so please check that. He's not quite dry yet, but he will. And normally I like to let him dry completely before I do this, but I've had a couple of retakes. I've had people come in and, well, you girls know how that can go. Oh, forgot to tell you, this is a 1/2 inch circle punch. And again, I wanted to try to have a daisy look, and so I wanted to cover up the brad, and I wanted it to be a little bigger. So I just used a circle punch. I thought it turned out cute. Okay, I think we're ready to finish up the assembly. Okay, so let's see. About halfway through on the ribbon, line that up. Oops, there we go. Press it down and grab some more dimensionals. And for this one, these edge pieces work great because we need a lot of room and to cover a lot of area. So I'm going to use up some of the edge pieces of our dimensional there. And pop them on. And I've taken a piece of Certainly celery and folded it in half, and as you can see, I've used this one already a couple of times. And I ran it through the crimper, and what you get is this effect. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out 2 leaves. I'm going to cut the leaves out on the fold. And put a little snail adhesive on the back side of them and tuck them in. And we've got our card. I hope you enjoy making them, and I hope that the mothers that you decide to give them to really enjoy them as well. Thanks everybody. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.